we are now going to transition from the college ranks into the high school ranks, although it may as well be a college job. If you've been under a rock for the last, 48 hours?
I think people on each coast at this point know that there's an opening at Allen.
I think.
You know that place with the big stadium? They need a coach.
Yeah, they do need a coach. So we did break the news on yesterday on TCTF Live that the biggest school in the state, Allen, is open. Mm-hmm. Tom Westerberg, their coach, is going to Barbers Hill, taking the job down there at Barbers Hill. And so the school with the biggest enrollment in the state, Allen, winners of the 2012, 2013, 2014 state titles, is open. And I was thinking about this because a lot of the word you've been hearing so much from people is like, wow, this job, like this is the job in the state of Texas. Well,
yeah,
I don't want to say that it's not a good job because it's a great job.
It's a great job.
It's a great job.
It's a great job. Is it the one you would pick first?
That's not to say that there aren't pros and cons to the Allen job. And so we laid out some pros and cons and some advantages and disadvantages to whoever takes over the Allen job. We'll start with the positive. We always like to be positive, right?
All right.
We're positive.
The good news first.
Good news first. Unquestionably, you have unmatched depth.
Yeah, it's not even close.
At this school.
It's not close.
That when you have 7,000 kids in your school, so let's just do the math, okay?
Okay.
You have 7,000 kids. Cut it in half because, although if any girls want to come play, that's cool. But cut it in half, 3,500, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say that there are 2,000 who are just not interested in football at all, period. They're just not interested, okay? Yeah. We're just throwing numbers at it.
Right.
That's 1,500 students. That means you've got 1,500 students, which is bigger than a lot of 5A schools.
Right.
To choose from for your football team. You have a lot of depth. You can have a first string, second string, third string, fourth string, fifth string, and that can only be on varsity. Not to mention your JVs and stuff. You have unmatched depth.
Like, here's a question. How many 6A districts in the state of Texas could the Allen JV team win?
I mean, there's probably a few.
There's probably a few, right?
Probably a few. You know, there's probably a few. But this is a place where, you will have numbers that when you talk to smaller school classifications, they talk about, we're a big 6A, we're a big 5A, so that's good. Mm-hmm. Or that tends to be an advantage. You are the biggest school, and therefore you have unmatched numbers and depth to draw from, which is great. Secondly, and this is something that makes people tense when we talk about it, but you have to bring it up.
Obvious.
It's an affluent area. Yeah. And the numbers bear out that affluent areas, communities with money, do better than communities that don't have money. That's not an opinion.
Right.
That is borne out by facts.
Resources make things easier. It's
so
life.
You have and the example I always use is you've got let's just say that instead of when Johnny comes home from school,
right?
There's two Johnnies, one in an affluent area, one in a non-affluent area. Johnny in the affluent area is coming home from school and he's going to a camp that he's taking a tenth off his 40, a tenth of a second off his 40 time. Johnny from a non-affluent area is going to work.
Yeah.
He's going to his after-school job because he's got to help support his family.
Right.
I mean, that is not an opinion. That is what's happening. And so when you have that
not for everyone, training,
not for everybody,
but more in the affluent area than anywhere else.
And being affluent does not guarantee success.
No.
But you are in an area. If you are in an affluent area, you are more likely to win. And if and so being in there, that is an advantage to the Allen job.
Yeah.
And thirdly, and this kind of goes hand in hand with number 2.
Right.
You've got outrageous facilities.
Everyone in the nation knows about your facilities.
Everybody in the nation knows about your stadium.
They don't know anything about any of the players, any of the coaches, anything, but they know you have that crazy stadium.
Yes. You have the stadium, you have the indoor facility, you have all the beautiful facilities that you need. Facilities that I would say literally any other school in the state and
Right.
maybe the nation would trade you
Yeah.
right now, straight up.
Yeah.
You have the envy of all the facilities.
No question.
And that is a huge advantage to wanting the Allen job because you don't have to fight for the practice field to get watered, or you don't have to, things that happen at other programs, you don't have to worry about. Your facilities are top of the line, top notch, outrageous.
Yeah.
Okay? Those are the pros. And there are clear pros, okay? Those are obviously advantages to the Allen job.
Right.
Let's talk about the other side.
Okay.
Let's talk about what's not so great about this Allen job and why it's not this slam dunk everybody in the state wants this job.
Now, this first one, before you dive into it, I want to start it with a question for you.
The first one is that there's pressure to win.
There's pressure to win. Now, my question to you, can anyone win at Allen?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so at all. It's not a... Allen wasn't always winning titles.
Mm-hmm.
Before Tom Westerberg, Allen wasn't winning titles.
Right.
Now, part of that has to do with the population growth, but also, Tom Westerberg's just a darn good coach.
Very good coach.
And you can't just throw your jock on the field and be a winner at Allen.
Right.
Yes, they have those tremendous advantages, but it takes a lot to win anywhere.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
But I asked the question just because it comes up a lot.
It does.
Because of all the advantages.
Anybody can win at Allen. No,
There you go.
absolutely not. Tom
Now you got
Westerberg.
me.
Tom Westerberg is a wizard.
Yeah.
Barbers Hill is getting a tremendous coach.
Right.
And I think that it takes a special guy to win at Allen. But you are walking into a situation where they have just lost a guy who won 4 titles for them. A guy who won 3 straight titles between 2012 and 2014.
Right.
A team that
57?
just finished a 57-game winning streak.
No pressure.
One of the most prestigious programs in the state right now. And this is a community that has gotten used to a certain way of things happening.
Right.
And that way of things happening is winning.
Yeah.
And if you don't win, for whatever reason, even if it's for a perfectly good reason, like everyone gets injured, that's coming back on you.
It's like it's hard to describe it as people who see the diehard fans of every sort of fan base, their opinions on Twitter and on the web or whatever every week, right?
Yeah.
The difference between most programs and Allen fans, right, is the things they throw at you aren't just, oh, hey, look, we're really good.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, we're really special. It's, hey, look, we're insanely better than everyone else.
Yes.
Like, that is their thing. It's not just enough to win at Allen. You can't just win like everyone else. You have to humiliate people. You have to be
dominant.
so much better
You have to
than everyone else.
You have to dominate.
Yeah.
The bar is higher, and that is because of what Tom Westerberg did.
Oh, absolutely.
That's because Tom Westerberg raised the bar up here. But now the bar is up here,
Yeah.
and whoever takes over is going to have to clear it.
Right.
Number 2, and another thing that makes people uncomfortable to talk about. When you got more people, you got more politics.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question.
The parents
No question at all.
and the battle for playing time and all the stuff, all the peripheral stuff that goes on is amplified
Right.
in Allen. With more players, there are more parents, and when there's more parents, there are more boosters, and when there's more boosters, there's more politics. And so when you are the head coach at Allen, you have to balance that, and you have to be a bit of a politician.
Right.
You've got to work to make everybody happy, or the most number of people happy. So you're not only over here balancing this incredible task of winning a state championship, which is the expectation at Allen every single year. You also have to make people happy on the side and make enough people happy that they don't run you out of town.
Right.
And this happens at every job. I understand that. But in Allen, when there is more money and when there is more people, there is more expectation and there's more politics involved.
And it's not just that. You have to have the mettle
Yeah.
to stick to your guns. I mean, perfect example this season. Westerberg gets Seth Green, great football player, 4-star recruit,
Sure.
moves into the district. Things don't go well, he still sticks with Junkie. That's his guy.
Yeah.
You know, and there's
Now,
probably
part of that,
lots of people breathing down his neck going,
hey, you got this superstar.
4-star.
Yeah, look at this
4-star.
4-star guy.
and look, a lot of people would have played him. He probably would have been great.
But he's his guy. And that's the other thing about it. That's the thing that Tom Westerberg had.
Yeah.
Is that he had political capital.
Yeah.
That he had earned through, ta-da,
Lots of wins.
winning titles.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And finally, thirdly,
This is what makes this like a college job.
you got to be a CEO. Okay? I was talking with another coach. This was probably a couple of years ago. Who had made a big leap up from a smaller classification to a bigger classification. And I was chatting with him, and this was off the record, which is why I'm not sharing his name. It was Max Thompson. Anyway, but he was in awe of the number of assistants and the number of coaches and the number of cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
And it's not just your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, running backs coach, those guys. It's the JV coaches, okay? It's the middle school coaches because you want to implement your program down there. And so when you bring them all together, you are the head of a company, okay? You are the CEO.
Yeah.
And you have to be a CEO.
Yeah.
And handle all these things coming at you from all different angles, from the middle school jobs. And as you go up the ladder, as far as the bigger schools, that only gets bigger and bigger and bigger. There's only more middle school teams feeding into Allen. There's only more JV teams feeding into Allen. So when you're at the top, you have to be a CEO over everyone else, and that is never bigger than anywhere but at Allen.
Yep.
Where you have 7,000 kids at the high school, which means that you've got more kids coming up through the middle school ranks, and you have to be in charge of all of them too. Yep. Like, people think it's, he just goes out there and coaches on Friday nights. That ain't the case. You are on calls with your middle school coaches, implementing stuff and asking how things went all the time. So, to recap, to be the head coach at Allen, you got to be a CEO of a major company. You've got to be a politician to make people happy.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, you'd probably better win state titles as well. That's not to say, again, it's not to say that it's not a great job, because it's a great job.
It's a great job because you have everything there for you,
have
to do
everything
all
there.
of those things.
You do. You have the expectations are there because it is attainable. And honestly, and this is the God's honest truth, there are hundreds of programs in the state that are not going to win a state title in the next 10 years.
Right.
They're just not.
Yeah.
And be that for one reason or another, there just aren't. Here is one on the short list of really, really, really great programs. And you have a shot at it. That's not to say it's not a great job, but there certainly are drawbacks. And the idea that anybody would leave their job right now to go there, I think, is foolhardy.
Well, and before we go, really quickly, talk about who you think might end up being the coach there. Because I think based on their past, now obviously it's,
I think there's one name.
Do you think there's one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I think the most, look, the last time they did this, Joe Martin left. Westerberg was an assistant in-house, took over. The suggestion would be you have to understand what goes on here to know what goes next. I assume your obvious choice is Campbell.
No.
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 Really?
There's one job.
Okay.
There's one
Buckle
guy.
up.
You make one
Buckling
call.
up.
You make one call, and you make him turn you down. It's Jeff Fleener.
You think it's Fleener?
It's Fleener. It's the guy who's coach at San Antonio Brandeis.
No, I know.
He's now got. I'm saying that for the audience, not
Right.
you. It's we're not just
in
talking to
case.
ourselves.
Just in case.
coach at San Antonio Brandeis. He was the offensive coordinator for them during the Kyler Murray years for long, under Tom Westerberg. He understands the program.
Okay.
He had been there since 2006. He understands that program, and he's a winner. And he is well liked in the community. He's a guy that everybody likes. I think you call Coach Fleener, and you could call Jeff Fleener, and you make him turn you down.
Look, I think Fleener...
He did just move his whole family down to San Antonio.
Look, Fleener would be a great choice. He's an in-house guy, obviously has experience, but so is Terry Gamble.
Sure. I don't think
Terry Gamble has done it longer at Midway since leaving, and really pushed Midway to a level they weren't at before he got there.
Absolutely. Maybe.
I think the obvious point here is we all expect, and I don't think we're alone, for them to go with someone they know very well.
With an Allen tie. Right. They're not going to go, and they're not going to get get my good friend Coach Brooks out of Canutillo. Okay? He's not he's not going to, they're not going to be like, "Oh, hey, Coach, why don't you come on out, out to Allen from El Paso?"
Yeah.
That's probably not going to happen. As good of a coach,
right.
Might be the best coach, one of the best coaches, Scotty Brooks, one of the best coaches we're not talking about.
Yeah.
But they're probably not going to do that.
Right.
They're probably going to go to a guy that they know. And I think that is I think you call Jeff Fleener and you make him turn you down. That's my thought.
Interesting.
But I'm also not in charge of Allen.
Okay.
Thank God is what everyone in Allen is saying.